So what I wanted to do this year was talk about two things that I've heard in the last 12 months, sort of 6 months ago and then 12 months ago here actually, that I actually kind of disagreed with. And that sort of made me think, well, maybe there's something I can talk about this. One of these was the following statement. It was that. Oh no, not yet. I could tell you what it was, but that might spoil the surprise. How are we doing, Stephen? There we go. Games are a service and not a product. Now, nice Christian Segerstrahler was here last year, and those of you who were here will remember that I ended up standing next to him and debating against Ray Maguire, who we just saw, and Peter Moore. And we were saying that the age of blockbuster games was over, and they were saying, no, there's still plenty of life in them. And it was one of those funny debates that we're going to have one later this afternoon. But Christian's great justification, and he kept saying that, and he got $300 million for saying this sort of 4 weeks afterwards, was that games are a service and not a product. But I, wasn't sure about that. Now the other thing, and I owe this to Ian Livingston, who's sitting over there, he put me onto a fantastic presentation by a guy called Jesse Schell, and this is at DICE, D-I-C-E. So if you just type Jesse Schell DICE, you'll see the video. It's 18 minutes long. And it's a presentation about how you can game literally everything. You could, now that all objects talk to each other and every iPhone or every conceivable device can sort of keep score and add it all up, you could have a life in which you've got extra points for brushing your teeth, followed by extra points for flossing, followed by da-da-da-da-da, and it goes on and on and on. And it was a great presentation and very exciting to watch, and it made you think gaming was really important. But what did it really say about games? And that's the problem with both of these, is I disagree. I don't think games are just a service, and I don't think you can game everything. In fact, what I believe is more like this. Okay, so I stole the quote, and some of you will know where I stole the quote from. Bill Shankly, brilliant Liverpool manager. That's what I think. I think games are much, much more important. They're not just something we dole out to people for free and they sort of follow along. They count. And each game, not all of them, there's rubbish games, but there's great games. And the great games stick and become part of our culture, become part of our life, become very important. So what I wanted to do was sort of go back, and this list may be embarrassing. You may look at me after you've seen this list and think, I don't want to talk to him anymore, he likes so-and-so, or whatever. But this is my list of the games that I really got stuck on, okay? Some of them, I'd be amazed if you know, others will be obvious to you. Pong, of course you do. Me and my brother used to sit upstairs at home and play this for hours, absolutely hours. This would have been, 74, 75, 76. We would just sit there for hours. It didn't have a huge amount of depth, it just got faster, maybe, if you were lucky. But that was good enough. We absolutely adored that game. Next up, go forward quite a while, and you get to a game that, hands up, honestly, anyone in this room has ever played this game? I thought not. I am quite esoteric. I worked on a film called Biggles, all right, back when I was a kid, assistant director, and a company called Mirasoft then released this game. Now, it's pretty sophisticated. I went and reminded myself of it recently and looked at YouTube sort of videos of it, and you could shoot people, and if there were lots of them, you could throw grenades at them, and you sort of went through trenches, and then there was a big ugly German at the end, and you shot him, and you felt great about things. I'm not sure things have come forward that much since then, frankly. It was incredibly blocky. It was on the Spectrum, and so every time you loaded it, well, kind of 3 times out of 4, it would just crash with this pathetic little error message. And you then had to get the tape out of the tape player, rewind the tape, and put it back on again. But perseverance paid, and you got the game at the end of it, and I enjoyed it. Now we get on to slightly more normal ones. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Kind of a big, story-y, puzzly game. Came on 14 discs. Also took forever to load, but once you had loaded it, you were off and away. I loved that game. I played it. I lived in Paris briefly. I was playing it there. I lived in New York for a while. I was playing it there. Absolutely adored it. Probably should have got through it a lot quicker. Some of the more skilled gamers in the audience would have raced through, but I just took my time and loved it. Doom, I'm guessing most of you. Hands up who played Doom, hands up. Yeah, okay. Hands up who didn't play Doom in this room. Michael Rawlinson. How did I know? How did I know? Doom was just fantastic. Now, we were working at the time, I was a Eurocrat, okay, and we're working in this office in North London where, and I know all this is being videoed and someone's going to see this, but can I just say managerial supervision wasn't all that it could have been, okay? So we would agree to play Doom at lunchtime on the network. Lunches started at 12 and then sort of eased into the 11:30 thing. And they sort of went a little bit beyond 2 until 2:30, 3 o'clock. We just utterly loved Doom and we're racking up the hours on this, chasing each other around, shooting and so on. Then we get to Warcraft, same group of people, but sort of madder game. You're chucking spells at each other. There's always someone has sort of read the manual with that game, and they've got a slight advantage. They know how to use an ice storm at the same as this, the same as that. This isn't World of Warcraft. This is just Warcraft, but as a network experience. Racked up the hours on that. Loved it. Okay, GoldenEye. Don't have to. Hands up who played GoldenEye. Hands up who didn't play GoldenEye. Okay, who have we got there? Can't recognise you, sir, but your head should be in shame. Fantastic, just shooting game. Everyone played it, everyone loved it. Colonisation. Hands up who's played Colonisation. Sid Meier's Colonisation. Okay, one of my favourite games of all time. Still played it last weekend, utterly love it. Basically, you spend about 12 hours setting up your colony, making it as sort of fiscally prudent and yet economically and militarily equipped. And then, in a mad fit of pique, you decide to declare that you're independent of this corrupt king in Europe, and it can be the English king, the Dutch king, the French king, the Spanish king. And then he sends a huge army and tries to wipe you out. And having done all that preparation, it kind of goes either way. You've got about half an hour's gameplay where it goes either way. Love that game. Okay, then we've got Command and Conquer. Absolutely adored that game. One business ago, I had a partner, and we would just play this game all the time, head to head against each other on the network. We once got an invitation to a party at the Storm Modelling Agency. Okay, and it was going to be one of those late night parties with lots of free alcohol and incredibly beautiful women. And we got there at about 10:30, and having tried to have conversations with women that were just sort of up there and had this sort of, oh, I don't know who you are and I don't know why I'd even talk to you, look about them. We tried this about 4 times. We looked at each other and we said, shall we go back to the office and play Command and Conquer? Which we did until 5 in the morning. We then went home to our wives, both having to explain the fact that we not liked the model party, but preferred to go back to the office and play Command and Conquer, which was a difficult conversation in both households. Okay, then we've got Fahrenheit. This was just a brilliant premise. You walk downstairs into a room, there's a murder just been taken place. You're not quite sure whether you're the perpetrator or not. Do you run for it as if you're the perpetrator, or do you wait and help the police when they arrive? Absolutely brilliant premise. And then it went off into the strangest places. You became sort of half psychotic halfway through and started being chased by monsters. Absolutely brilliant game. Loved it. Spent a lot of time on it. Professor Layton. Okay, that's a long pause between that and now I don't get so much time. And now I kind of am old and boring. And now the idea of, I mean, we saw that Killzone stuff, and I saw Killzone, and it's fantastic. But those soldiers covered in biceps and muscles and you know, pockets within pockets within pockets for extra weapons. There does come a point, ladies and gentlemen, well, ladies know this all their lives, but gentlemen sort of forget this for a while and then come back to it. It doesn't quite do it for you anymore. So then, you know, simple puzzle game, Professor Layton, absolutely loved it, always compete them. Play them with my kids, which is easy and nice. It's to do with life stage. I don't know. I love that game. Anyway, what have we got left? Facebook chess. Now, chess is designed for Facebook. Chess is asynchronous, so you've got this sort of pause between one move and another move, and that can be a day, that can be a week, it doesn't matter. Although if you're winning, I do notice your friends always suddenly go, I'm on vacation, I'm sorry, I'm off, I'm out of here. The other Facebook games I tend to struggle with, to be honest with you, and I know they're the future, and I know they're all brilliant, and I know we're all supposed to see that fantastic future coming, but I have a friend, who I work with sometimes, who some of the people in this audience know actually, but I'm not going to say who it is, they can guess. But I will be in the middle of a conversation with someone at a sort of event like this, and he will then come up and he will tug me on the elbow while I'm in the middle of talking to someone else, because either he wants me to introduce him to this person, or he wants to just bother me about something. But he just comes up behind me and he tugs me literally on the elbow. Now that is like being given a cow in Farmville or something like that. It's like, I don't want a cow. I don't want actually you giving me things, really. But these people send you stuff. And it's like being bothered by people who, I don't know what it is, but that doesn't work. Facebook chess, brilliant. And if any of you want a game, in fact, if any of you want an easy win, come look me up, because I'm not particularly good at it, I just enjoy it. All right, lots of time on that. And then just recently, I've had a fantastic time with Red Dead Redemption. And I haven't really been enjoying those games so much recently, but I just plugged into it, and I just love it. And I just, I don't know what they're planning to do with the Kinetic. We're gonna hear from Jerry Johnson, who's going to talk about Xbox Live and things like that tomorrow. But apparently with Kinetic, you've not only got the sort of camera and then the infrared positioning stuff, but it's also got great sort of voice recognition stuff. So I'm just going to stand there in front of the telly doing my cowboy stuff. That's what I'm going to do with Red Dead Redemption, What you doing today, Sean? May you kill someone? Haven't decided yet. That's what I'm going to do when it's ready. I just love this whole John Wayne-y world they give you. So what is my selection? Those are my big games. You'll all have your own list of big games. They'll all say something about you. They will all have changed over time because you've changed over time. There'll all be something to do with your family and your context and so on. What does that tell me about games and gaming? And the argument I'm trying to make, which is gaming is a little bit more important than just a service. And it's not possible to game everything. Well, firstly, gaming is a spectrum. Okay, right at that end, you've got your super hard, normally very expensive, MMO type things. And we come all the way through. We've got sort of strategy, sports, sims, real time. You know these categories. And we come back to here. Facebook games, browser games, party fun games. Those are the really immersive ones. They're the ones you get, you get well into. That's not true of all of my games. Some of my games were really immersive. Some of them are at this sort of slighter end of the market. I think my taste is across that spectrum. If circumstances had been different, other games would have filled in these slots. I haven't played every game under the sun, but those are the ones I really got stuck on and spent time with. What else is gaming? Well, gaming is a loop, and it's this loop, which is 6 parts. You understand a new environment, you acquire new skills, you test those skills, you get a sort of completion thing, you get a little reward, and then you get to progress on to the next thing. Now, pretty much that's true of Tetris, that's true of Red Dead Redemption. Where's Igor? Where's Igor? Igor, poor Igor, lovely Igor, probably actually very rich Igor, got inundated by my kids this morning. Igor has made a fantastic game called Doodle Jump, which he's going to talk about later. But that is true of that. The reward is just putting in your high score, very simple. The skills vary and they just include slightly more skills as you go along. It's perfect development. And that's the gaming loop. Now that gaming loop has emotions for each different part of it. That's why it works for us. That's why we care about it. First bit, surprise, discovery, assessment. You're learning, basically. You're learning with the second bit, preparation, improvement. The third bit is doing stuff. It's being proficient. It's concentrating, and it's being immersed. Completion is like, yes, done it, which is satisfaction. Reward is sort of proof. It's you were right all along. You were that good. And progression, well, that takes you on. Don't forget progression. Progression isn't just, okay, now you get to the next level. Soap operas live on progression. You stop the story just at the point people want to take you forward to the next bit, and you can hold people. You can play games around just the progression bit and use that to drive your narrative forwards.